Hi guys. A couple disclaimers before I start my lesson this morning. Number one, usually I would comb my hair or take a shower or put on clothes, but since I'm teaching this lesson from my kitchen, you're just going to have to deal with it. Number two, there might be an occasional disruptive student during this lesson. Please just ignore her, or if I have to go attend to her, give me a couple seconds. Okay. Alright, so we've been talking about phonemes and using them to make words. We know that phonemes are the sounds that words are made out of. So in our previous couple classes we've looked at some of those sounds and we've identified how to write them and then we've used them to make words. And today we are going to do some phoneme manipulation, which is adding or removing or substituting sounds in words to create new words. So first we're going to start by reading this book that I think has some great words in it that will allow us to explore how we can change those words. And it's called I Stink by Kate and Jim McMullen. Who am I? I've got lights, 10 wide tires, no AC, not me. I've got doubles, steering wheels, gas pedals, brakes. I am totally dual op. Know what I do at night while you're asleep? Eat your trash, that's what. See those bags? I smell breakfast. Crew, get me to the curb. Lights, blink, brakes, squeal. Tailgate, say ah. Alright, I'm not going to read the whole book. So now that we've read this book, we're going to take some of those words from it and I'm going to show you how you would manipulate those words using phonemes to create a new word. Okay? So let's start with this word that we just heard, crew. Crew. Now when we separate that into its phonemes or its sounds, it looks like this. K, oo, crew, right? Now, in order to make a new word, we are going to add an s to the beginning. We're going to add that s sound to the beginning. So when you add that sound, it turns into s, k, oo. What word does that make? Screw. Okay, so that's how you can add a sound to a word to make a new word. Let's try another one. Let's start with this word, snail. Snail, which we heard at a later portion in that book. Snail is made up of these sounds. S-n-a-l. Now what we're going to do is we're going to remove the first sound. Remove the first sound. So the first sound in snail is this S here. So when we remove that, we end up with that. N-a-l. So what word does that make? Nail. So now we have added a sound to make a new word, and we removed a sound to make a new word. And the last thing you can do to change words is to substitute or replace those phonemes or those sounds. So we're going to start with this word, plop. Alright, and here's how that goes as far as the phonemes. We got o, op, plop. What we're going to do now is we're going to replace or substitute that second P sound with a w, w. So we're going to change this P right here into a W. So that word then becomes plow. Plow. So those are a couple examples of how we can change words using phonemes and how you would write the sound and notate it. So now, in your groups, I've got a list of word problems, just like the ones I had here. You will start with a word, and then there will be instructions on what to do with that word and how to change it. And you guys as a group are going to have to come up with the new word. Okay? And when we're all done, we're going to come back together, and I've taken all of those clues and turned them into a crossword puzzle using our favorite website, Puzzle Maker. And so then on our whiteboard in the front, or for our purposes today, my piece of construction paper, you will have a chance, each one of you, to come up here and answer one of your clues that your group figured out and write it on our crossword puzzle. And so you'll get practice writing the words, and you'll know if the word doesn't fit in the puzzle, then something went wrong. It's not the right manipulation or the right phoneme addition, subtraction, or substitution. All right, so get with your groups, figure out how to solve your word problems, and then we'll come together and finish that crossword puzzle as a class. So I will come around and help you guys with any questions that you might have. Okay, so we've all solved our problems as groups, and now we're going to see if we can put our crossword puzzle together. So let's see, let's get it up on the board here. There you go. Now guys, this is just obviously a very small sample of the crossword puzzle, but it is a really cool website called Puzzle Maker where you can create these things, and all you do is type in the answers and then it makes the puzzle for you. So yeah, it's real simple. Okay, first group. Number 1 down, we had this clue. Add S to the beginning of pin. Add an S sound to the beginning of pin. And what word did you guys find that you came up with? Spin. Spin is right. We add an S to the beginning of pin and it makes spin. So I'll write that in here. One of you guys would usually write this in, but since there are none of you here, I will do it. There's our first word in the crossword puzzle. Okay, next word, number 3 down. Remove an R sound from the word groan. Groan. Okay, what did you guys come up with? If you take that R out, what word do you get? Gown. You get gown. There you have it. Gown goes in that space. Now, the last clue. Replace T in plant with a K. So you take the T out of plant and put in a K. And that word becomes plank. Plank. And somehow I copied this puzzle down wrong on my little whiteboard, and it didn't work. But it would work had I copied it down the right way. I want to show you one more thing with this word that we changed from groan to gown. Groan starts with this O sound. Big O. Alright, but when we take out that R and it becomes gown, that O, that big O sound changes to a little o. Okay, so we have G, R, O, N for groan, but when we take this R out, it changes into a different spelling of phonemes. Gown. Gown. So by just removing one letter, not only do we change the word, we change the sound, and we change how you would write that using our phonemes. And that's a really advanced skill to learn, but just something that you can be aware of. Well, clearly I could have done a little more proofreading in my puzzle. I'm really disappointed that let me down, but we'll get it right. Thanks for manipulating some phonemes with me.